Okay, Aji. Uh, Anita, thank you for introducing me. My name is Gojko Galonja, to repeat my name again. I don't like titles a lot. I find myself as information seeker, because information is the core of knowledge. I don't particularly believe in intelligence also. I think it's just a cumulative quantity of information that you have, based where you are in the world, based on amount of information that you're provided. So CTO is fine, but I don't really believe in titles. I believe in what you do, pretty much. I come from Finaprise. We're based in Copenhagen, in Denmark. It was a freshly baked startup. We don't have our product out yet. We're in beta testing, but we are pretty much sooner and sooner every day to actually release our application to the public. My subject is improving impact investing through user data insights. This is somewhat of a topic, I would say. There's a lot of variants in this presentation. This is one of them, but this kind of sounded to me the most impactful one, so to say. Does anyone work in startup here right now, or has anyone worked in startup previously? Okay, you're working in a startup right now? You work in startup. Okay, what stage did you join? Was it really early or was it late? Oh, okay, so I joined Finaprise in April this year. They didn't have, like, they had their idea, they had some investments and so on and so forth, but I joined them to drive and lead the technical department. This on the slide right here are Almighty Power Rangers. I believe a majority of you know what this is. It's an ancient TV show that was manifested back in the days. At the beginning of every startup, people who are there at early stage, we all believe like, and we all pretend like we are like this. We are superheroes. Power Rangers in general, they're trying to do their best thing, what they can to defeat the evil, to fight the bad guys and so on. And with every startup, you have this great idea, you have this great drive, enthusiasm, and motivation to fulfill something, to reach a certain goal, and to be successful at it. So we all feel like Power Rangers with our superpowers, with our great idea, and so on. But as things enroll, as you start developing stuff, as you start integrating your great plans, your great organization, agile methodologies, Scrum, this and that, blah, 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 all that stuff. Once you hit the wall, all that kind of falls into all that falls down, pretty much. So you start feeling like this. I believe majority of you know what this is, more than Power Rangers. These are great Teletubbies. They're clueless, they're harmless, they're good, they don't have any bad intentions, they just wander around their environment, their space and whatnot, they're happy and that's it. They have their difficulties, but they're so clueless and happy that they don't really think about it too much. This is pretty much everyone who works in startup or who starts working in startup feels like this at some point. When, like I said, when you start hitting the wall, when you start hitting the obstacles, you start to feel like this. You have issues with third-party data providers. You have issues with silly bugs in the code, in the software development. You have wrong predictions, you have wrong data, you have everything's wrong, everything's falling apart, everything's burning. Like that meme of that dog that says this is fine and everything's burning around him. That's pretty much a good representation of what it feels like sometimes in startup. But we at Finaprise, we're trying to breach through these obstacles. We find ourselves sometimes in them, but in majority of cases, pretty much all of them, right so far, we managed to get through and to get back on track. What we built, what we're planning to build, what we're planning to release is investment application like eToro or Robinhood, if any one of you is into that, where you can invest, where you can buy and trade stocks, sell, and so on. But we have one thing that makes us unique, and we're trying to break into this micro niche. We're not the only one. There's a handful of companies that start building the same concept, where you have sustainability goals, where you're trying to make an impact in the world through investment solutions like, like basically an app, eToro and Robinhood is. This is just randomly picked logos of companies that we have in our Finaprise universe. We had wide variety, over 2,000 right now. We're trying to get pretty much all the companies from different type of marketplaces, different types of stock trading locations, places, and so on. This is just, like I said, randomly picked handful of companies that we have in our arsenal, in our Finaprise, so-called Finaprise universe. Each of these companies, for example, in other solely investment apps, they're just represented as companies, as stocks that you can buy and sell. But Finaprise universe, these companies belong to each playlist. And we have basically the information that we offer about these companies are, like I said, financial ones. And you can see on the slide, it's just the standard metrics that we have. MSCI ESG ratings, history, weekly, monthly, yearly, quarterly, financial data. We offer all that. But I mentioned playlists. We have these Finaprise playlists. I'm going to get to the reason why I say Finaprise playlist is because you'll hear about it later on, I guess. But we have Finaprise playlists that we created and curated ourselves. Clean Oceans, LGBTQ+, plant-based diet, clean energy, just to name a few. We currently have around 19, and we keep integrating more and more. But these playlists consist of a lot of different stocks and companies. And each company, so for example, let's say Tesla, it's a widely known company. They belong to, can you guess which of these playlists? There's a lower carbon emissions. So Tesla belongs to that playlist, and like other companies as well. And they have their industry classification. So they're automotive-oriented company, that's their industry, and they have their medians in sustainability terms. Each of those industries, they have their medians that we compare the data of specific stock and company to. So Tesla is in this playlist. So for example, here you can see some mock-ups. In the middle, there's animal welfare, for example, and it consists of different kinds of stocks and companies. This is curated by Finaprise, and that's something that we built. On the left side, you have welfare heroes, pretty much. That's user-created playlist. User can create, we offer that possibility for users to create playlists, because if you're a well-informed user, if you're a well-informed person that cares about certain cause, certain sustainability and impact thing, I would say you have a lot of information that you can contribute to our app with, and you can create your own playlist and put a lot of different companies within that playlist. You can push that playlist to others, you can promote it, you can comment it, you can put it on the, you can share it and so on. On the far right side, that's like a mock-up where you as a user can create a playlist. You can add different kinds of stocks and stuff like that. The reason why I'm explaining all this is to introduce the idea of what we build, and it's all going to make sense more as I go into impact metrics and data that we offer based on each company and playlist that we have. So basically impact metrics. Here you can see the impact metrics that we offer data about. So for example, you have Tesla, and okay, it's lower emission, lower carbon emission playlist type, and it belongs to automotive industry. But regardless of that, we offer every metric that we have regarding that company, not just carbon emission, not just scope 3 emissions and stuff like that. We offer all the sustainability metrics that we can. So for example, board independence and gender equality and stuff like that. Here you see mock-ups of what we envisioned to be probably the best UI and user experience based on the user tests that we ran through and user insights that we gathered from the beta testers. This was proven to be the most effective one. Excuse me, there's a little mistake there in the middle slide. The green shouldn't be green, it should be red. But this is like, imagine this is, I think, Bang & Olufsen example. It's not exact data, it's just like UI thing, but this is just presented to kind of show you how we measure things and how we display them. So for example, you have X company, gender equality, and you can see we measure and show the data, provide the data through the app about the company. How much was the ratio between different genders in the company? If they're good, if they're doing good, if they're within their industry median, or if they're actually exceeding the industry median, which can be either good or bad depending on the metric. In the middle, you have poverty fighting, is GDP per capita generated by the company in a given region that they operate in. It should be red. For example, this is X company. They generate less than the industry median. So excuse me for the little mistake in the UI. It should be green there. Red, sorry. At the end, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Their impact metric is to the roof bad of the X company. User behavior analytics, metrics, and all that jazz. That's pretty much the whole thing what we relied on when we started building the product, the application, further developing it, and approaching the deadline, so to say, approaching the final line, the finish line of releasing the product and application to the public. It's currently in the beta testing. We had alpha testing as well, in which we gathered all the behavior, their clicks, their heat maps, what they focus on within the application the most, what they click the most, what stocks they go to, what metrics they trying to investigate and see. And it's curious to see that a lot of people, there's actually two segments of our research that we had, in alpha testing at least. A lot of, like one half was focusing a lot on just financials, even though it's like sustainability, impact investing type of application. And they knew that before they joined the tests. But the interesting thing is that they just paid attention to the financial part. And what we concluded is that a lot of those users who pay attention to financial part, not the metrics and impact of sustainability that the company offers, people that pay attention to financials, they just install the application to compare the pretty much UI, UX, information validity, how exact the information regarding finances is, how often does it update and stuff like that, just to compare that solution, that product to other ones that offer the same thing. They also check the impact data as well, sustainability, but that served as just like a bonus to them, pretty much. The other group just paid attention on sustainability. They paid attention just to daily prices and pretty much weekly and monthly prices. Well, the stock price of the company. What they cared about is sustainability and impact that the company actually does or doesn't do. The good that they do or the bad that they do. So that's one of the interesting things that we experienced in the alpha tests. In the beta tests, we introduced a new skeleton, a new type of application with the new UI and stuff shown differently a little bit, which kind of leveled that ratio of just checking the finances, just checking the impact metrics, which was pretty good thing to see. But we also had to take into consideration that a lot of people who just checked the finances, they dropped out because they were just, like I said, probably checking and comparing the financial data to other apps. The one that actually stayed, they actually checked the impact metrics. So based on user behavior, the heat maps that we have within our application, the insights that we get, the clicks, all those counts and stuff like that, we're trying to build the standard things. We're trying to improve our UI, existing UI, introduce new things, and everything that boils into that category of when you measure the data within the application and so on. But what also we have in mind is to release Finaprise Community down the road, where you will have the opportunity to, well, you first have the opportunity to create playlists and add stocks that you want to them. But you'll be able to write blog posts. You'll be able to write articles, comment on companies, rate the companies, give likes, dislikes, and so on. You'll be able to start a thread, comment on different playlists, actually vote down the specific playlist that user created, and so on. This is kind of a really powerful thing that we will rely a lot on to gain the user insight and data, because down the road we have intentions and plans to rewind a little bit. How we gather data is the impact data, is through third-party data provider that operates with us, but also we gather them ourselves. We also check the validity of the data ourselves. Our sustainability team is in charge of that part. But the thing is, all the data that we have, we gather from pretty much quarterly reports that the companies release. So for example, Microsoft, Nike, Adidas, Tesla, they will have their sustainability quarterly report that they release, and you have to go through it, analyze, gather it from different kind of places, depending where they publish it and how they publish it. And based on that, you actually get the insights. Same goes with the industry median. Industry median updates a little bit more often, and it can be a tedious process to go through it yourself. So we hired the help of, we hired external company to help us with the data provisioning, let alone that we do ourselves. So to go back to community, it'll be really insightful and helpful to us to get the data that the users themselves write about, that they comment on, that they dislike, they approve, disapprove the actions of the company that they do in specific sustainability goal and what impact they have. If the data that we provide is potentially changed, because for example, we can quarterly, so for example, in the third quarter, we get new data about the companies, about playlists, and it changes 7 days after we get the data. And we have to kind of wait, or it can be slow process to update that data once we update it quarterly. So we can gather more insight from the users and their behavior within the community section, what they write about, hear them out, see if there are any anomalies within the information that we provide as well. So we can update it and be more faster on that regard. Talk a little bit more about our company. We're based in Copenhagen. Like I said, first we started. It's a true honor to work with this bunch of folks. It's funny thing that we're based in Copenhagen, we're formed in Copenhagen, we're in Denmark, but we have a team of 10 people and nobody's Danish. We have a couple of folks from Italy, I'm from Bosnia originally, some folks from Slovenia, Slovakia, Germany, Canada, South Korea, and so on. And that's what's kind of interested me and fascinated me the most, that Scandinavian mindset in general. There's a lot of different nations and a lot of different nationalities there. And people who actually care about things that Scandinavians care about, those people that care about the same things tend to move to Scandinavia, either through university, masters, bachelors, PhD, and so on, or they simply just try to go there, migrate to Scandinavian countries based on the cause that they care about, the work they do, and so on. This is one of the, I'm saying this because it's actually one of the things that I really care about is environment. And by working in such a company, allows me to care about a lot of things at the same time and take care of a lot of things at the same time. And hopefully, as we release our application and release our product, as we gain traction, as we gain users, as we grow, we'll, for you who know Power Rangers, we'll turn and combine ourselves into that super mega robot that's gonna at least tiny little bit help the world and make it a better place through you, the users, but also we're gonna have some impact on providing such an application. And that's pretty much it. By the way, we still have user signups for beta testing. For you who are interested, feel free to reach out by visiting the link here, which is our website. We also have user signups, the waitlist for our application, so you can sign up there and wait and get notified once we release the application in public, in the production environment. And that would be much appreciated because as our list grows, we gain more confidence to keep going and to keep improving the product that we built. So that would be it for the presentation. Thank you all for coming and hearing me out. So now if anyone has any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer. Go for it.
So Warren Buffett said there's three things you need to know about stock market, and that is stock market is not economy, stock market is not economy, stock market is not economy.
Yeah.
And sadly enough, we live in that era where actually tweets and some gossips impact the financial health of companies more than financial fundamentals that you can find in quarterly earnings or whatever. And quarterly earnings at the end of the day are just the wishful thinking of the company. Yeah. They're mostly in positive tone. And now I'm just thinking, because this is extremely interesting area that you're doing, because you're evaluating the social aspects and the social responsibilities of the company, but you're updating it on a quarterly frequency. How do you handle these shocks that happen on a daily basis in terms of somebody tweets something about the company? And then yet again, your users are, I don't know, somebody tweets that Amazon is not behaving very well to his workers. Now, they're not going to put that in a quarterly earnings, but your users are going to expect that you reflect this, or at least just give them an explanation. Why do you think that that tweet was not relevant? So how are you handling this, or are you planning to implement something that will handle this? Because probably that will be a lot helpful for your users.
Yeah. By doing so, that's somewhat what we have in mind by building Finaprise community. We have exact numbers. We have exact numbers that we are passed to and forwarded to by the third-party data provider that specializes in this kind of thing, but also the data that we gather ourselves and we validate and push into the application. Those are just exact numbers, but everything that happens in between when we release the numbers and the data within our application quarterly, and the next update that we do on the data regard, we're trying to fill that gap with the Finaprise community. Maybe at the beginning we don't have currently capacity to do so. We don't have capacity to build it. We're slowly trying to plan everything out and make it happen. But over time, once we do have Finaprise community, you'll have opportunity to create a thread or a blog or share a tweet or do everything, or Reddit post or everything that's in that regard to that Finaprise community. And other users who kind of follow that trend, the same thing that you shared, that you care about, they'll, based on their interaction with that post or thread or a comment, with their likes, dislikes, other comments and stuff like that, they'll be able to approve that or disregard the information that was provided by the Finapriser in the community. I know that might not be... Yeah, pretty much. But that's also tricky, because some information may be relevant and may be accurate, but other people, because they're biased towards the company, they might provide false information to us by disliking that, for example, or disapproving what the person wrote. So our sustainability team is going to be pretty much as big as our tech team, because they will have to go sort of manually through this information. They'll have to read posts. We try to automate as much as we can, but it's a really tedious process to do so. And also building models and predictions to classify those things can be also faulty as well. A lot of false positives or false negatives can be produced from that. So we'll kind of have to handpick not every, but a majority of the information that we get from Finaprise community. So we kind of mostly rely on Finaprise community because we trust and we believe that we're going to build truthful community that cares about the causes as we do. So based on that, we'll have to put a lot of trust into our users. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. It was great. I didn't quite catch can users add specific companies, or are the companies added by you?
We have companies and playlists that are curated by Finaprise, but we also have one of the slides I showed. I don't know if you catched. We provide the opportunity for users to create their playlists and to add specific companies within that playlist. For the stocks, you won't be able to create a company because we have to go through the company, filter them out, see if they're relevant, if we can actually gather and provide the data that's exact and enough for it to be within the application. So you as a user, as an end user, will be able to create playlists and add existing stocks to that playlist. But you as an end user won't be able to add stocks and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I have one question, guys. I recently got vaccinated, and I'm okay. I don't have any side effects, except that I got vaccinated here. It doesn't hurt, but my armpit hurts. Has anyone experienced anything like that? Sorry? Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe it got moved down a little bit. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, okay. I see. Thank you. Check my what? Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, if no one else has any questions, that will be it. Thank you all for coming. And please visit finenterprise.com and sign up for newsletters and everything that follows that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gojko.
Thank you.